from a data from a folder, then how to transform data with Power Query. So first, so Power BI, Power Query, Power BI. So Power Query is a data transformation and data preparation engine. Power Query comes with a graphical interface for getting data from sources and a Power Query editor for applying transformations. Because the engine is available in many products and services, the destination where the data will be stored depends on where Power Query was used. Using Power Query, you can perform the extract, transform, and load ETL process of data. So using Power Query, you can use it to transform our data, transform it, okay, extract the data we want to extract, transform it, and load it to our Power BI to use it for our visualization, so that we can, so getting depending on data we want to use. So there are different transformation we can do with Power BI. So Power Query. So you can see Power Query in different softwares like your Microsoft Azure Data Lakes storage, Microsoft Dataverse, Microsoft Azure, and then Microsoft Power BI. That's the place that Power BI, Power Query has been integrated into. So let's dive into that. Let me open my Power BI so that we can just dive into it. So let's wait for it to open. Okay, so it's opening now. It's open. So let's get. So the first what I want to do is I want to show you that you can also transform a data that is coming from a folder. Like remove some part of the folder, the data that I don't want to do. So for this, I'm going to import the data from a folder, the same data I imported the last time. I'm going to click here. So it's loading. So after I load, so I can click here.
Oh, sorry.
Select the folder I want. Select the folder. Move on. So then for me, I can select my file. So let me look for it. So it's in this PC desktop. So select sales class and then connect. So here, so what I can do here now with this added is I can just come here, click on, because I want to combine and load, I can combine and load, or I can combine and transform data. I can combine and transform data. But this, what I want to do here, I don't want to combine it from here. I want to combine it inside my Power Query. So what I'm going to do is click on this data here. Click on transform so that I can take me to Power Query. So when I click on transform, it brings me to Power Query so that I can clean up the data that I have there and use the data to do whatever I want to do. I can clean up the data. But here, so what I want to do here is I want to first of all modify. So I can what I can do is I can remove all these ones here, all this colon here, folder path, attributes, data created, date created, and all these ones are just information about the data. Then, but here, what I want to do is I also want to combine the data. You can see combine file like we had there. So I can just click here. I can click up here or I can click here. So I clicked up here. So it will combine the three data for me together. So click on sheet. So select the sheet you want to use. So you remember, you can also select the way you want it to, which folder is the sample folder. So which folder is other ones going to be added to. So which folder is other ones going to be? So the sample folder is going to be 2016. So that's the first folder. I'm going to choose that layer. And I'm going to click on OK. So I have this now. So I have my data combined. So you can see that all the data that, okay, let's look down to. You can see 2016, 2017, and we have 2018 too. So all those data has been combined together for us, and we'll have them here. So what I want us to see is how to transform the data. So when you come into Power BI, there's something we call apply steps. So apply steps are steps taken to get to a particular place that you are. For example, the first time if you bring in the data to combine, if you combine data for the first time, see what the Power BI is going to help you. You can see, first of all, the first thing it does is the source I brought in, where you brought the data in. That's the source. That's the first step that's going to take, because you brought the data in, you're going to have a source where it's coming from. That's the first apply step. The next thing it does is it filters out some data. So there are some stuff that it filters out. So it filters out some of the columns I'll have here. Then the next is invoke column. So it invokes a column. Invokes a column, which is the transform column, which is this column here. So it invokes a column, which is this column here, which is this column. So basically, this transform column is used to transform the data. If, for example, now I don't want to use the whole column that I have there. I want to transform the data that some of the column will be removed, or maybe I want to aggregate it. I don't want to open everything. I want to sum every in each column that I have. I want to sum everything up and know how many they are. I can use that in transform column, in transform file. So I get in it. So, but I don't want to do it in this invoke custom function. I don't want to do it in this invoke custom function area. So I want to do it in something like here, in this remove other column. So because it's already removed other columns I had, I want to do it somewhere here. So what I can do here is I can come here and then I want to remove some of the columns I have here. So let's say I want to minus some of the columns. So let's say I don't want to use total price and total cost and unit price. Okay, let's say unit cost. So I don't want to use all this. So if I click on, with this, all this thing removed now, if I click on OK, so what it does, so this, the message is telling me is that I have other things down here. So all these things that down here will not work if I create this thing here. If I click on OK, it's going to expand. So if I click on all these ones, they're not going to work. You see, they're showing me error because this one is already doing the job of this one here. So I'm going to remove this. I click on delete. That's the one I need to remove. Then remove this one too. So I have that there. So I have my transformation there. So, but it's always better to remove it before you do what you want to do, so that it's to change the type for you. So let's do it again. So if I click on, I want to remove total price and unit cost. Total cost too. So click on OK. So I can have that now. So you see, I have my, so you see, now total profit and unit sales quantity, unit price. So you see, there's no unit cost, there's no other, all those ones I remove are no longer there because I filter them out from the table, from the transformation, the one I'm using for the transformation. So I filter them out. But what I did there now is expand. So what I did here is expand the table. So for example, you see that I'm in expand. So expand means that I want to expand the whole table so that I'll be able to see the data inside that table. So I don't want to maybe combine it. So this one is aggregate. This one is aggregate. So aggregate, what the aggregate does is it counts a particular row. So if I have a row, like I have other row now, the order is going to count the amount of order I have. So if I want to just see the count of orders, the order will have, I want to see the count, how many of them. So you can see. So for 2016, we have 12 orders. 2017, we have 15 orders. 2018, we have 19 orders. So these are the orders we have in different in sales data. So I guess so that's the aggregate. So it helps you count a particular column. So you have to count that column. It counts the row on that column. So if I say total profit on the same thing, it's going to give me the same thing for each because the column, they are the same thing. They are the row, the amount is the same thing. So let's see what I want to do is count this. Let me go and do that. What's this one? So remove this one and click on count. And if I want to expand to just one, if I click on expand and I just want to expand to order and total profits, I can do that. So order and total profit. I have the orders and their total profits made from that order. So if this is what I want to use to visualize to show my company, then I can just do like this. So I have my order and total company expanded. So with that expanded now, I can use them to do whatever I want to do. But for me, I'm going to remove that and I make everything. I'm going to expand, just removing the total cost and this with unit cost. Okay. So then now I can start cleaning up my data. See, my data needs to be cleaned up. So for example, now I can remove the name, this name here on this source. So I want to just have source alone. I want to remove the name there. Click on enter. So I want to transform file. I want to remove this file from transform, remove this transform file here. Click on enter. So I want to remove this transform leave only date. I want to also remove this transform file and have product. Also remove country code and have remove country code and I want to remove this from this. So just double click on it and rename it. That's what I'm doing. So I'm double clicking on it and renaming it. So just go like that. So I want to rename the quantity sale. I'm going to transform behind it. So I have that in here now. So you can see I have my data in here. So now I want to also remove this this extension name in front of this XLSX. Like I said, I want to remove it. So to remove it, I use my replace value. So replace value is here. I see replace value. So I want to replace. The value I want to replace is. So it's okay. So what I want to replace is .xlsx. So I want to replace it with empty space. So I want to replace it with empty. I don't want it to have anything. I want to replace it with empty. So it's going to be self. So this is still no XLS stuff there. So I guess in it. So I have that cleaned up for me. So now, so I just have country code here and the country. So for example, now let's say I want this state. I think this is the state. I want the state to go out. I want the state to be on its own. You can see I have chicken fried wrap, pots them. So I guess in it, we have Stuttgart, we have Sydney, Hamburg. So all these places are where they are sold. Bangkok. So let's say I want to like remove them from this. I want to create a new column for them. So I want them to have their own column. I want them to have their own column. I don't want them to be joined with this product. So what I'm going to do is click here. So I'm going to do something we call split. So I'm going to split the table. So I'm going to split. So to split the table, come here, up here, and say I want to split. I can split by space. I can split by delimiter. So I'm going to split by delimiter. So delimiter I want to. So you already the split automatically helps me detect the delimiter. The delimiter I want to split with is what's it called? It's close bracket. It's open bracket, not close bracket. So it's open bracket. That's what I want to use for the split. So what I'm going to do is, so here they're going to ask me split at. So where they are, so split at each occurrences of the delimiter. So this means anywhere, if the delimiter occurs twice, you should split it in that like 2 times. If the delimiter occurs 3 times, split it that three times. So, but because what I want to do is I want to split it leftmost delimiter. So the leftmost delimiter means I want to split it. Let me show you. So you see, this is the left part. This starting one, this open bracket is the left part. So I it. So this open bracket is the left part, and that's what I want to split from. I can say split from the leftmost delimiter. So this helps whenever I have this same delimiter like 2 times, 3 times, but I just want to split it once. I want to split it from the leftmost, the one that comes at the left the most. So that's what I want to split from. So if I want to split from the rightmost, I can split from the rightmost by clicking on the rightmost. But I'm going to say the leftmost delimiter for here. Click on OK. So it's going to split that for me. And I'm going to have the state here. So I'm going to first of all remove this close bracket. So replace close brackets with empty. So I'm going to replace that, and I'm going to rename it. I'm going to stay states. So states, and I have their states in there. So I have their states. Everything is different from each other. So I have state, unit price, total profit. So I have that there. So now after that, if I have any other thing that I want to do, I can do that. But me, I don't want to, so I'm going to just load. I'm going to just load it to my distance. So I'm going to come here and say close and apply, close and apply. Okay, so it's loading. So, did you understand the transformation?
Yeah, I don't know if that is all that there is to transformation. Is there more things with transformation? And I want to ask, what's the difference between transforming data on Excel and transforming data on Power BI? Is it that these things that we do, we can't do them on Excel, right?
No, you can.
When
You can combine data. You can combine data on Excel too.
Okay, so these things that you did here on Power BI can also be done on Excel.
Yeah, there's Power Query in Excel.
Okay.
So that's still another class I'm going to talk about on Excel too. I don't know why Mr. Kim has not touched you that before, but it's also what you're going to talk about on Excel. How to Power Query on Excel, how to combine data is there with Power Query. So the transformation too is there, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. So, but he has not taught you the Power Query on Excel, right? I guessed.
I was saying something that we'll get to it. I don't know if it's after this one or I don't know how he has the structure, but
you should take that with you on Excel. Okay, so but you understand this one I thought about. Okay, you said you're asking if that is all to transformation, right?
yes.
So that's basically what transformation is used for. So the transformation is basically to minimize, like to get some data you want to use and to aggregate. So you expand some depending on the data you want to use and then aggregate. Do you get it now?
Okay.
Yeah. So then after doing that, now I can now visualize my data. So I can say table. And I can visualize my data. I can say, so I want to visualize it with table. I want to visualize states, order by each state. So let's say I want to order by each state by state. So let that load. So each order, how many order by state? So look at this order ID. So to do that, I have to count the order first. If I do it like this, it's going to give me different orders. So I guess so I have to count the order. So I can create a measure for that. So let me create a measure counting the row of that order. So new measure. Okay, so I'll say count of order. The count of order, what I want to do is count the order row. So that's that. So I'm gonna put in the so I can see them order by each country. So I have two for each state. We have Houston 2, Berlin 1, Boston 2, 3, 4. So you can see different orders from each state. You are seeing that here. So I have total of order I have 46 orders. So I have 46 orders, and then we have order for each state. Because that will
This new measure, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
When do we use it? When is the right time to always use a new measure?
So it's basically, I can hear you.
Because I thought when you were transforming the data, you did something about count and all.
Yeah,
So
count also works, but new measure is basically to get information from your data. So for example, now let's say I'm going to use another example of what you can use. For example, now let's say I want to get in this my date I have here. Not here. Let me remove this. So let's say I want to get the days and the months and all that. I can use my measure to do that. So getting it. So maybe I want to use the day to do a visualization. So I can use my measure to bring out the day in this days of the week in this year that I have here. In each day that we sold. So I get it. So I want to find out the day we sold in every month. So I get it. I can bring out I can extract the month from here. I can extract the year, the day from here. I can extract the working weeks and the holidays from this way using my measure. That is it. So I can do an if formula that saying that if the total profit is equals to or greater than, maybe I want to know total profit that we made a very big profit from. So I get in it. That's what they said I should maybe from which product do we make a very big profit from. They'll say that if the total profit is equals to or greater than this particular amount, okay, if it's greater than if it's greater than or equals to this particular amount, then you should tell us that we made a very big profit from this.
It's better that you should.
That's not. I understand, but that's not really what we were meant to talk about today. If you go into that, you're going to sleep here. It's much you get. So we still have other stuff that we're going to talk about, and the time is already fast. So I get in it. But we are going to talk about measure. If we are going to still get into measure, I get in it. That's something we're going to talk about when we get there. So I get in it. So we are still going to understand it very well. So, but let me just give you one. Let's say now I want to extract from this year I have here. I want to extract like the day. So I get in it. So I can do that by using my measure. Sorry. I don't want to recover. I'm coming. So just one example. Let me slow up. Sorry, I'm coming. So okay, let me create a new measure now. Let me remove this. So I want to create a new measure for my date. So I'm going to select this, come to new measure. So for example now, so for the day part, if I want to get the day, which I want to get it in number, not the name. So let's say I want to get the day, but I want to get it in number, not the name. So I guess in it. So what I need to do is, what I can do is I can say let's say day number, for example, not the month, so day number. So if I say come here, just say day. So day is going to ask me for the dates I want to use. So the date I want to use is in sales, is called date. Sales class, let's see. Sales. Sales class, date. Yes. I think there's a bit of mistake here. Can't find table sales. Oh, it's not finding the table. Okay. Let me try it again. The number. The okay, so this is mistake here. So class.
If it's going to take a while, maybe we should just go on with what we have today because our time is already past spent.
Yeah.
So that we don't
I think
spend all
I think this date is not recognized as a date. That's why it's not showing, because I'm using the date listing, it's not counting it. So I think I will check it when we go to the back to the listing. But for example, for now, I'm going to you can see that this part you have the listing visualized. So basically why we need to import the folder is now I already imported 2016, 2017, 2018 inside. So let's say I have another date, or I have maybe if it's a month, so I have another date. So if I bring it in, it automatically add that date for me in here. So that new date, I want to see total set on that new date. So I want to see the days sales of that new date. So I get in it. So what I can do is for this, I'm going to put in my new source there, so that I can see the, let me put it on top here. So I have the year, like I said, the date that where it's coming from. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to come here, then from this folder that I'm putting, where is that folder? I had 2016. So I'm going to create another one. Let me just recreate for 2029. So I'm going to rename this to, I'm going to save this as 20, save as 2029. 2019, sorry, don't mind. 2019 and enter. So Like this now, that means the 2019 data is already added here. So if I come into my Power BI and I refresh the data, it's going to refresh everything new for me. So refresh that, and then if I scroll down, it should show me 2019 now. So you see 2019 has been added there. So let's say I want to slice, I want to filter depending on the year. I want to filter the sales depending on the year. So what I'm going to do is use my slicer, select on this, use my slicer, reduce the slicer. So I want to use my slicer to filter. So I'm going to come to the source. So now say I want to see sales 2019 data. So you can see I have 2019 data that and the others by each state. So I get in it, you can see. For this Boston, we have one. This we have one. Cardiff, we have one. We have Lille, we have one. Paris, we have one. So just have them. That's that year. So you see that the year it was not there, but because it was in the folder and we added a new year to that folder, if you refresh it, it will also add that new year for you into your data, and everything that you did in what's it called, in Power Query, all those transformations added to it will also be added to that new one you added. Everything added to that place will also be added to the new year we added to have our listing like this. Do you understand it, ma? Hello, ma?
Yes, I'm with you.
So that's the main
Yes.
main benefit of folder. Like it helps you do something like, so you don't need to be stressing yourself whenever maybe it's something you get monthly. So you don't need to be stressing yourself whenever you get a new data. You just need to put it inside that folder and it will automatically help you visualize it and you can make use of it. That's so that's that. So let's go back to Power Query. So I'm going to go to transform data and transform data. I want to go back to Power Query. So this is why this was why this thing was not working. Can you hear me, man? Because this stuff is not recognized as a date. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So you're not recognized as a date. So we need to convert it to dates here. So it's not date. So we did bin date now.
I can hear you perfectly.
Yeah. So we did bin date now. So some of these things are showing errors here because I think there's an error from the data provider, but we did bin date now. You can now use it in there when we get there. So I guess I'm still going to show you that. Let's talk about other stuff. So let's say now you see I have an error here. So I guess so all this error here, I can replace it with another value. But if I want to remove them, I can also filter them. So I can filter them out. So come down, look for error. Oh. Okay, there's actually not an error. It's a text, but because I converted to a date, that is not recognized as a date, so it's removed. It's not showing in the filter. So let's say remove empty. Okay, so remove empty should remove. It's not removing it. So there's noise coming from your ends. I can't. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. There was a noise coming from your end. Sorry. Okay, so let's go. So I think the date, that error is coming from one of these dates that I have here. So it's not really going to be able to filter. If it was to be a null data, we could have been able to filter it. Okay. Okay, let's remove remove errors. So we can remove error rows. Why is this one still remaining now? The date we could not face this input provided as a date value. I remove it now, it's an error. Well, let me go back. Okay. So with this like this, let me remove errors. Okay, so that error has been removed. So you can use remove error column to remove that. So remove error. So go to remove row and go to remove error. So you can use it to remove error rows. So I guess any row that has error, you can use it to remove that. You can also use this to remove blank rows. comes our data, can use it to remove duplicate values. So if you have duplicate values that you don't, that data must is not supposed to have duplicate values, you can use that to remove duplicate values. Check it in. So you can remove bottom rows, you can remove top rows, you can remove alternative row. Alternative row means the middle, maybe can say the first row to the first row to remove, the number of rows to remove, and the top number of rows to keep. So I can remove the first row to remove can be, so the first row 1, number of rows to remove, I can say 3 or 4 rows, number of rows to keep, I can put that in there, then I can click on OK, and that will apply to that part. So I can do that too. I can keep top row, keep bottom row, keep range of row, keep duplicate rows, so I can keep errors. So if anyone I want to keep, I can keep them. Then here I can also remove column. So let's say I want to remove any column from here now. Like the one I did at the other one, when I filtered out some columns, I can also remove columns. So I want to remove some columns here. For example, let's say I don't need this product. I need product. Let me remove this one in front of it. Let's say I don't need okay. So let's say I don't need this.
If you remove something here, is it permanently removed from even the main document?
No, it does not permanently remove from the main document.
Okay, just remove
in the main document. Yeah, on this place.
But I thought you said if you refresh it, it's going to affect your folder.
Now, if you refresh it, is if you add, no, it's not affecting your folder. I mean, it's affecting what you import here. Do you get what I mean? Like, if you put any new thing to that folder, that new thing will also, if you refresh it, that new thing will also take the same process that you already did to this. So if you're removing any column from this part, if you're adding any other new folder, that same column that you remove from this one is going to also be removed from that same folder.
So what I'm trying to ask now is, as you're doing all these changes here, right? I thought it's supposed to be affecting the folder.
No, it's not affecting the folder. So the folder is on its own there. So let's say for this folder. So the only thing I can do is, the only thing I can affect is, I can hear you.
What of all those changes you were making and you refresh, and then it will just automatically?
It does not affect the folder. So any changes that you are doing is going from the folder to the Power BI, not going from Power BI to the folder.
Okay, it's coming from the folder to the Power BI.
So that's how it works. So if there's no change on the folder, there's not going to be a change. If there's no change from the folder, there's not going to be a change from the data file. So for example, the only change I can make about the folder is if I open this Excel file now and I go to that Excel file itself and delete this thing. And which, if I do that in the Power BI part, it's going to show me error.
Okay.
Are you getting it? Okay. Because it will be on other files, but I'm just removing it from one file. But if I remove it from all the 3 files, it will work in that part because I remove it from the 3 files. But if I remove it to just one file, it show me error. And if I'm bringing another file into this place, into this folder that does not correspond, that the table does not correspond, it also shows me error on my. Let me show you an example. So for this, I have this in here. So I have I just put in a file here, which is product. So I have put in a file which is product. And if I come here now, this product is nothing close to this data at all. So let's say I refresh this data now. Refresh. Oh, so you see an error occurred in the transformation file, in the transform file query. Data source not found, Excel workbook, the Microsoft. You see, this is the provider registration and is not working because there is a data that is not corresponding there. The data is a data that, you see, they are even telling us, come down to this part. On the local machine, the 64-bit of this access data database engine provided may be required to read product text, to read product.text. So I can to read this, but this not because of that. You can actually read this text file alone. But because we're adding this text file to our folder, and in that folder, the text file, this thing does not correspond. So I'm going to use, because I'm using a text file for now, but let me use an Excel file too. An Excel file that the table does not correspond. So I'm going to remove this. No, I need that data. Let me put it back to where it was. So I'm going to remove, I'm going to bring in this data. See this data? Yeah, I think this data. I'm going to bring in one of it here. Let me copy it. So I'm going to take it in here. Let's see. So we have 2019 data. So I'm going to rename this. I'm going to put 1. Let me just put 1 in front and enter. Okay. So let's come to our this thing now and refresh. Refresh. Okay. So let me refresh again. Refresh preview. Okay, so now let's look at this. So we have 2016 imported. The data are the same. Come. Okay, this means that they are the same data. So that's why it's they have the same this thing. Let me. I went and imported the same. Let me just use a quite very different data. This one has the same corresponding table too. Let me use this. Let me see this. Okay, something like this is not corresponding at all. So I think I should use this. Let's see. Table cannot apply. Try again. Can I move this here? Let's see. This one can go in. This one can go in. So this is a different data entirely. So let's reload. So even if it comes in, it's still going to be showing you some nulls. But let's see. So you see, showing us an error occurred in this transformation query expression. The key didn't match any row in the table details. So I guess in the sushi, item sheet, item kind, item table. So I guess in all these stuff, they don't match anything. And even in the data that you have inside, it does not match any of the data we have on the one that we already imported before. So it's going to show us this error. Do you get it, man?
So if I understand very well, yeah, we're importing a folder. All the information on that folder must sort of have the same columns.
Yes, I think maybe I didn't talk about that. Yeah, it has to have
work, right?
Yeah, it has to have the same information. It has to correspond.
Yes.
The columns,
It's
the columns
more
has
like
to
maybe you're keeping track of. It's more like keeping track of maybe a sales for a year.
Yes.
Because they will have the same information, the same column and everything.
Everything.
Okay, so what I want to ask that, right? When you bring this information into Power BI to maybe transform, yeah. For every transformation you make and you refresh, will it affect the folder? That's what I'm asking. Like for instance,
no, it will not affect the folder. It will not affect the file you have in file folder. No, it will not affect the file.
So if you go back to that folder, if you go back to that original folder, yeah,
in Excel,
everything will still be there.
Yes, everything will still be there. Even if you open, all this stuff that I have in this folder is also an Excel file.
Okay.
Yeah, so they are also an Excel file. It's just that they are in folder. So the folder is just because I want to import them in a bulk, not just one. I just want to import them in a bulk. That's why I'm using the folder. But they are all Excel file. Do you get it?
So when you maybe create a new column now in this transformation, for instance, maybe in your original folder, you don't have a column for total, and then you come to Power Query and you create a new column.
It's not going to affect the folder.
It's not going to affect the folder. So if I go back to the folder will still be the same.
The same, yeah.
Okay.
It's not going to affect it, yeah. the changes goes from the folder to the Power BI. Changes cannot go from Power BI to folder.
Okay, so if I want to change anything now permanently, I have to now go to the folder. Is that what you're
Folder,
saying?
yeah, that's yes. Go to the folder or go to the Excel file or any file and where you are getting it from and change it from there.
Okay.
The same thing goes for when you are importing an Excel file too. Anything you're
So
changing
all this refreshing you are doing is to refresh what? Is it
is
to refresh it on the Power BI itself?
on the Power BI itself. So refreshing on Power BI means that anything I have, any changes I did to the file itself is going to be automatically added to this one I have on my Power BI. But if there's no change in the Excel file, there's not going to be a change in this one I have here. It's just going to remain the same even if I refresh it. Do you understand now?
Okay.
Hello, ma.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I'm with you. I understand.
Okay. So let me refresh this. Okay, so I already did my. So let me change this date to. I can change my data type from here. So you have data types. You can change it. You can change to decimal number, fixed decimal number. So that's like number dollar sign. You can have whole number. You can have percentage. You can have date. You can have only date and time. You can have date only. You can have time. You can have date, time, and time zone. You can have duration. Text. So text is general. This text is what I'm using here. But I'm going to put it to date and time. So date and time is going to give me the date and the time. But let me change to just dates. So just date, yeah, replace value. Yeah, so that's what we really need. So some of the data is showing us error. Some of the data is showing us error. So, but I don't want to now. It's showing me error, but I don't want to remove everything. Like I don't want to remove this because I want this to have a date to there too. I want it to have a date. So I'm going to change it back to text. So let's see. So when it goes to text, you see, everything is now text. So I want everything to be text so that I can let me change it back to, let's see now if it's going to date. Let's see if you're going to have error again. So you see now, there's still error. So that means it didn't work. So let me check something. I think there is a miswriting on that. That's why it's not seeing it as a date. Let's see. And there's no miswriting there. Let's check to. Yes. I just want to be able to find it out. So this is error. This cannot be converted to a whole number. It's an error on that date. This thing. Let me go back to when it was just. Yeah, this is what I want. So I want to see all those ones, all these ones here. There is an error on it. Oh, there's an error because there's nothing like, can you hear me? Hello, ma.
Yes, I can hear you.
There's nothing like 13th first. Like this, the year is going like this. You can see this is 12th. This is the year. This is the year. This is the date, day, and this is the year. I say this is the month. This is the day, and this is the year. So I getting it. So this is the month. This is the day, and so there's nothing like 13 in the month. So I end as 12. So this one, so there's nothing like 14. So there's nothing like 15. So do you get it? So that's why all those stuff, you see, this part on 2019 too, we have that. So there's nothing like all those ones there on that month. So what I can do is I can use my replace value to replace it, replace all those what's it called? 12 to first, 14 to, so I get in it. So anyway, so I can use my replace value to do that. Or I can just remove them if it's not meant to be on my data, because this area I don't think it's, but you can use a replace value. If you still need that data part, you can select what you want and use a replace value to replace that. So you can say this. So I want to replace anything 13 to first. So 1913 has been replaced to first. 14 replaced to second. 15 replaced to third. So that's March. That's going for just summer. It's not working. Let's check that again. Okay. I have to press the whole date. Wow. 13.
Is there no place you can go that can just help align everything to day, month, as opposed to month, year? It will make it faster as we're doing it one
Yeah,
by
you
one.
can. But I think that this first is meant to be there. But let me change it to.
And that's what I'm saying. Maybe there's a place that you can just go.
Yes,
click
yes. You
the
can use
format.
your format. You can use your format to do that. Let's go to format. And this format. The format is in what's it called? In Power BI. Not showing here. Transform. There should be one here too. Is in Power BI. Oh. There's format in Power BI, but there's no one in this Power Query here. So you know what? Then we'll go to the Power BI. We can change that part to that. Let's change this to dates first. Okay. So date, okay, so let's change this to dates for now. Coming. Mistake was from the Excel file. The person that did it made a big mistake. But if we go into this, I'm going to change the format. For now, let me. Okay, so that's done. Let's look at for other chart. Okay, let's say we can remove this too. So look for other transformation you can do there. Dot XLSX. Replace with space. Okay. Okay. What else? So with that data in, that I can close and apply to this thing. So I want to bring in another for other ones that I want, other transformation I want to do. I want to bring in another files from Excel, one other file. So I'm going to close and apply this first for now. Let me see if that format is going to work right there. So there's an error in some of the file we have there. Now this file. So let's go to data view and then select it. We have day, month. Yeah, month and day. Yes, sir. This error is going to still be applied to it because we are not doing it from this part. Okay.
Page you're on, is it on the format page?
No, this page is the data view page. Data view.
Okay, data view.
So let me go back to transform. I want to change a bit. So let me first of all change this back to the text. Then close and apply. Then here, let's go down. Type now down. So select this column here. Some of them are still not showing. You know what? This state is if it's not showing like this, the only other way we can actually create this date back is using measure. Is to use measure to do that. If not, we cannot actually be able to create it again. Or we just go to our what's it called? What's here and replace values. That's another thing we can do. Let's try. Okay, still in. Let's try replacing. Cannot find error, so enter a valid data. Doesn't replace error. So there's that replace value that we can actually do. Replace it with the change the month to that year and that to this with the replace. That's the only way you can do it. Let me just do it that way. Try the other one as well. So let's come back to this part and let's replace. Can say thing. It's still the same. Stuff is not working. First, second, first, first, 12. There's no way I can create this. Wow.
If we cannot change it from here, maybe we have to change it from
Change it
the
from Excel.
source.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. So I have to change. So the way it aligns, the month, the way Excel aligns its own month and the day, Power BI has like it aligns it in a different. So this one is being, you see, this one now is being considered as the. I mean, this one is being considered as the month. Why it's supposed to be the day for Excel? So I guess that's why the error is there. So I can change it from Excel. Okay. So, but there's another way we can actually do it. So another thing we can do is convert this to month, then use your date, create another date for date table. So we can create another date table, then use it. But that is in Power BI. So I guess we can create another date table, and then from this date we have here, create the date. We can also do something like that. But that's it. So I'm gonna, maybe I will show you how to do that. And let's just move on for now. So I'll show you how to do that on and that one. So first, let's come back. So I said there's another data that I want to transform to. So let me get that data from this part. So there's an Excel file that has errors in it that I want to transform. I want to clean it up, and so it's an Excel file. So click on Excel and connect. And download sales data here. So click on OK. So it's loading. So I need to get all of them. So I need to get all the tables here, all the sheets. Select all the sheets. Click on transform data. So you can see that now these are data now. You see, all of them, they have different works that need to be done to them. You can see for this part now, for this part I have here, I'm going to talk. So have this part, we need to do some transformations to them. For this part, we need to do some transformation. So look at this data now. First of all, you see this data. You see that the head we have here is not correct. You can see we have something like Naga garment up here, and we have columns, three. So we don't need something like this. We don't need this. So what we want to use to do the head is this sales data here. So we want to use this our sales data to be the heading of this part. Receipt to be the receipt number. Sales date, sorry, to be the heading of sales. Received number should be the heading of this one. Other type name should be the heading of this one. Then item name should be the heading of this one. So that's how I want it to be. So what I can do is I can select the top one and say I want to remove the top column. So I want to remove the top column. So what I could do is come to here. I want to remove row. I want to remove the top row. So the top row, this one here, I want to remove this is the top row. This is the heading. So this heading is not considered as a row. So getting it. So if I'm saying I want to remove a top row, the one I'm removing is actually this one here. Anything below the heading is the top row. Can you hear me, ma?
Yes.
So anything below the heading is the top row. So this one here is the heading, and this is the one below the. So this one I want to remove this one. So I want to remove this one. So I'll say remove top row. So you see that is going to be removed. So let's wait. So now just one. I just want to remove one. I don't want to remove it. I want to remove two top rows. So I get to remove two. If I remove two, this one and this one will remove. But I just want to remove one. So put one there. Click on OK. So it's going to remove. See, that one has been removed now. So after removing that one now, I want to replace this header I have here with this thing. So what I can do is come here and say use first row as header. So use first row as header. So I say use first row as header. So I have that. You say everything. So I have my first row now has been used as header. See, sales date has been the header. This has the header. So I can see, click and I can filter. So everything. So I have that used as header now for me. So that's how I clean up this one. So now with that there, I have that there. So I have everything. Okay, so this is okay like this. So I can clean that. I've already cleaned that up. I have my this thing there. So let me clean up, click on this. So I have this cleaned up. See, stuff is okay now. So I have that here. So what else I can also the next thing I can also do is I want to come to this part. Now, if you look at what we have here, first of all, the name, the header is not correct. It's using the column 1, column 2 there, and we don't need that too. So basically, what makes this thing occur is in your Excel file. If in your Excel file you have a column before you have the header, you have an empty column on top before you have the header. So that empty column there, while you're pointing it, that empty column is going to be the heading. So if you have an empty space in your Excel file or whenever this is coming before in hand before this, if the title is not the main column on top, it's going to have an empty space, which is this column 1, column 2. That's what is causing this one here. So, but if you don't have, it's not going to show there. So I'm going to just say remove. We're going to not remove. Let's just say because we don't have anything to remove, so we just want to use this one to say everything. So let's show as header as well. But if you look at this one now, you see we also have null here. Everything is so if you look at, we have this in categories. We have the casual wear category, and all these ones here are in this category. Everything. All these ones here are in casual wear. All these ones here are in casual wear category. So everything. So casual wear categories, I have all this here. So and in this part, in this semi-formal, I have this shirts, P and legging and t-shirt here. Everything. So now, so let's say now I don't want this null here. So I can do two things. I can remove the null using my replace value and replace null with empty. But I can also do what we call fill down. So if I right click and come and say fill down. So you see what it does? It helps me fill down the data I have here. So you see, because it knows that these ones are in this casual way, so it's going to fill the casual wear for all of them. Casual wear. So you have them in that one. Then the next one, semi-formal, is going to fill it down for the category that I need, the item that are in that category. Then this one is going to fill it down to the item that is that category. The next one is going to fill it down to the item in that category. So you just fill down depending on the category. Like I said, so we don't need that space there. So that's why we just fill down so that the category name will go down for each and every one of the items there. Do you understand now?
Yes.
Okay. So that with that done now, we can now come to our customer information too. There's the other stuff we need to do there. So for the customer information, the first thing to do is remember, remove the column, use the first row as header. Then we have our first row as header. Then in this data too, there are some stuff that is combined together we need to split. For example, now, if you look at this data we have here, we have the ID proof. So we have the ID and then we have the ID number. So we don't need them together. We want the ID number to be separate and the ID to be separate. So we want the ID number to be separate and the ID to be separate itself. So what we can do is separate the both of them. So what you can do is right click, select on them and say separate column. So you can separate it by different stuff. So you can separate it by delimiter, but if you're separating by delimiter, we have different delimiters here. We have minus, greater than, we have equals to, slash, and minus 2 here. So if you say, let's say I want to split by delimiter now, and I say I want to split by, it's showing me space, but I want to split by custom. I want to customize. So I say I want to split by equals to, and so everything. So if I click on this now, split each occurrence, click on OK. So see, now it's splitting it to null because we have greater than sign and just greater than sign here. We have equals to, but they are not in the same place. They are in different columns. So what we need to is splitting, it has to be in the same column. So we cannot be using different this thing there. So what I can do is delete this, remove this column, come to this part and say split. And I can split by digit to non-digit. So by digit means number, and then being number to non-digit. So it's going to, but now the stuff is not starting from number, it's starting from text. So what I'm going to do is split by non-digit to digit. So split by non-digit. So anywhere that the ends, see where the digit ends, we're going to split from that part. So the digit ends here. We have the split to the side. We have the ID number now. So I can change this to ID number. So I have ID number there. So I can click on anywhere to have that. So I can now come and replace all these stuffs. I want to replace them. To replace values minus minus with space empty, replace value like equals to the empty space, replace this empty space, replace only minus the empty space. So I have that there now. I have the added card, driver's license, voter's card, and the ID number. Voter's ID, driver's license again, driver's license. So I have their numbers there. That's that. Then I can also split by a number of values. I can also split by a number. So let's say now in this place I want to split this IND. I want to split the number from the IND. So I can do two ways. I can do it in two ways. The easier way is to split by non-digit to digit. So non-digit to digit is going to split where the number ends. That's another symbol. I can also split by number of characters. So I say the character I want to split has to be like in 3. So 3. So 3. So say 3. So split in 3 values. So if I now there are things I can do. If I say repeatedly, so it's going to split. If it counts 1, 2, 3, it's going to split. It counts 1, 2, 3 again, it's going to split. It counts 1, 2, 3 again, it's going to split. That's the repeatedly. That's what it's going to be doing. It splits everything you have there, everything in the one you selected. So not this. I didn't select. This is one I want to select here. So that's what that does. That's the repeat. But what if I wanted to split once as far left as possible? So as far right as possible. So this is right. So it's going to split as far right as possible. What I want to actually do is I wanted to split once as far left as possible. So that means 3 times in 3 numbers. I want to split once as so this is the left. So 1, 2, 3. This is where you're going to split from. I click on OK. It's going to split from that person. And the 3 is there, and this one. So this one is change it to number, change it to text. No, change it to text. So the numbers this type. Yeah, change type. So I have that now to numbers. So I guess I have that to numbers. Then now I can also split by the limiter from here, removing the
Sorry, this second column that you divided, is it supposed to be text or numbers?
Which second column?
This one.
If you put whole number, watch what it does. Let's see. You see, it puts 9 dots, 9 dots. All this. That's what it does for you. It does not really give you the actual number. This thing there. If you put the decimal place, see the same thing. So, but if you put it in text, text is general. It can be your figures or this thing, your words. It can be words, I guess, and it can also be numbers. So depending on the one you want it to be, you can just put it there. So any value it has is going to just contain that value, but because this is number, is going to be this is going to be number like this. So the text is number or text or any value. So, but then this here, we have this there. So you can also split by this delimiter. Will have this Mr. This dots here in this Mr. So because there are Mr. and Mrs. Mr. and Mrs. So it's not just Mr. But you can split by that delimiter there. So that's how you can also split. Then here, I have something I want to do here now. So I want to do something. For example, now first of all, I want to change this heading. See, the heading is not correct. I want to change it to the first one. So use first row as header. I'm using my first row as header. So use my first row as header now. So now let's say, for example, now this thing I have here now. Let's say now I want, you see that this my date is in what's it called? Is in is as the column. Let's say I want to transform it to row. So I getting it? I want this heading now to be in row. Let's say I have in this row I have first of January 2018. So I getting it? In the next row, first of 2nd of January 2018. Something like that. Do you understand, ma? I want to add something like this in my row. So what I can do is I can transpose it. Listen, I can transpose my data. I don't want it to be in column. I want it to be in row. So maybe if I go in, I can use it to filter. So maybe I want to use it to filter particular listing when I get to my inside my data. And if we did be in this column now, I won't be able to do that. I won't be able to use it. So it's also going to be as header in that part. I won't be able to use it to filter. So I can make it a row by unpivoting it. So I can make it a row by unpivoting it. So to do that, right click on your this thing, come to your column. So you can say unpivot column. But now what I want to do is I want to unpivot other columns. I don't want to unpivot this column. If I say unpivot only this column, let's just do for this one. It's just an example. So if I say unpivot column, you see what it does? You see, you have the attribute, which location now, and then you have in each location, you have Chan, you have bag. So getting it. So you see that location that was the heading now is now as a row. Do you understand? That's what we want to do. So let's come to go back to where we were. So say, let's click now and say unpivot other columns. So now see that our here that was on top as the column now has been translated into the row for us now. So you see the address and then the year and the this thing for that year, for that day. Then this one, the value for that day. So I can change this thing. I can change this to date, and I can change this to code. So I can now use this now. So if I want to filter in each day, I want to see the code of this day. I want to see the code of this day. I want to see the code of this day. Then I can see that like that. So I have first of this, I have this the code here. Second of this, I have this the code. So so something like that kind of. So in each, but that's for each. So I'm going to take this to Power BI so I can use it so maybe you understand it better. Or do you understand it now? Do you understand what is basically useful?
Yes, you just changed from columns to row, right?
Row, yeah. So I can use this to be able to filter now, and I can also use it for other stuff I want to do. So then that's on pivoting. So we also have pivot. You want to pivot the table. So the pivot is just the opposite. So you converted to a row. Now you want to convert the table to a column. So to do pivot, you come to transform. Come to transform and say pivot column. The column you want to pivot is the date. Let's see. Okay. Let's select this pivot column. I'm going to pivot code. So you can see it now. So you have the locations down here, you have the table pivoted, and then we have the codes for each and every one of them there. So it's just the way it was before. You can see it. Do you understand it, ma? Okay. So that's that, and that's how you unpivot. So that's pivoting and unpivoting on Power BI and Power Query. So then the other ones we need to do, which is merge. The next one talking about merge
Sorry, before you continue, what's the difference between pivot and unpivot and transpose?
Yeah, transpose is also the same thing. So I guess it. Transpose is also the same thing as.
I'm seeing it here up on top of that transform. Can we just go there straight? Or it has to be pivot and unpivot?
No. You can also use transpose, but there are like a little bit difference in it. The transpose is just one particular this thing there. I say transpose. The pivot is to what am I saying? The pivot is to convert the row to a column, and the unpivot is to transform a column to a row. So you can also do transpose. Transpose, this table treating rows as columns and columns as rows. So you're getting it. So you can do the same thing as what we talked. So let me something like this now. So let's say transpose. So you see, now we have that this thing I'll have there now. The dark column, let me change this back to use first row as column. So I'm going to change that first. So you see now that thing we selected now has been changed to a column for us now. That stuff we selected has been changed. So you need each month now have the month and let me go back.
But I noticed that the date. I noticed that the date is not there anymore. When you transpose,
that means, but yeah, that's so it transpose. It removes the one you have there already and uses this one I have here now as the column. So if I click on this, you have it there. So as the, let me remove this. I want to use this first row as header. So first row as header. So I have that. So I can use that one selected. I can also do the same thing for ID. So for example, now, if I go back and I unpivot and go back, okay, something like this. I can also use this here and transpose. So you can see, but now the transposing with this one is not going to be that perfect because what it's going to do is it's going to also spread the data, like spread the what's it called? The data that are under this one. You see this data for this part now. You see January 1st, we have the data here, and also it's going to spread the other column. For example, let's come here. You see that this column is loading. This column was not the one selected, but because this column is here now, it's going to also treat it as a row too. It's not going to remain like, you know, if it's in transpose, if it's in on pivot now, the column is going to remain the same way it was. So I can say if it's because you are not transposing it or you're not doing it, it's going to remain the same. But for transpose, it's going to convert that same column to the same way. For example, now see we had this something like this now. We have something like this, and then we unpivot, and then we unpivot other columns. Unpivot other columns. You see that because we unpivot other columns, this one was not affected. It just remained the same, just that we added more, it just filled down for other ones, other dates that are there. So you're getting it, but it remains the same way. It was in a column and it still remained in that column. It was in a row, sorry, it was in a row and it still remained in that row. That's the unpivot. That's what your unpivot does. Then pivot to the same thing. It just does for one, it does not affect the other one. It remains the other ones, but for transpose, if you're transposing something like this data now, this one here also will also transform into a column, into a row, into a column. Yeah, that's what, because this is already in a row. So if you're transposing this one now, it's going to be transformed into a column too for you. So you say transposing now, you see, not just the one I selected, this one too has been transposed, has been converted to a column. This one too has been converted to a column. This one too has been converted to a column, and this one too has been converted to a column. So this one, this top one column, this one column, and this also one, and this also a column. So for different one of them, first we have this, second we have this, third we have this, and so do you understand it, man? So it doesn't. This one is like, so it does it for every one of these things you have there. So for this one, for the one we had like this, something like this, yeah. Now I'm using this one as the location. As I'm using location now to transpose. Sorry, not on pivot. To transpose. The reason why is removing this, the other one, is because the other one is already a column. Do you get it? So the other one is already a column. So that one is already. So what I'm trying to do is convert this one we have here now that we just selected into a column. And the other one is already a column that we have there. So it's basically this one is now have here now. It's going to replace that one that we have there.
Okay.
Do you get it, man?
Yes.
So that's basically so. But if the date was in a row, if you transpose it, everything, even the other one, is going to be transposed. Because if you look at this one too, everything here is turned to this thing. But because in this particular one, we have in this month here, we have this here, and we have another column that has another month. So it's going to be different. Like it's not going to be something like the other one will have that you have, that if the other one was using date, and each date you have one ID, you have one code. Each date you have one code. So everything is, so it's going to be, so in each date you're going to put in your own code, next date put in your own code, next date put his own code. But this one, in one state or in one I think it's state here, you have one, in one state you have more than one code. We have this the amount of code we have in one of this thing here. The next one will have this amount of code. So that's why we have this like this. If it was to be the date, it's going to be 1 because in each date you have just one code. Do you understand, man? So that's just this thing about them. So the on pivot, just on pivot the column, and the other columns will remain the way they were. They were just on pivot other columns, and if you select other columns, if you select to unpivot other columns, the other columns will be unpivoted, and the column that you are selected on, the column that you left out will still remain the same. But for pivot, for transformation, everything, for transpose, everything will be transposed. Everything will be converted to a column. So that's basically that on them, on that transpose. So all these other ones here are quite easy. So the row is to reverse row. So you can reverse row. So from here is now, from up is now down. You can do that. Count, you can also count. So count row, you have 13 there. So they are quite, if you go through them, it's just something that is self-explanatory. So I guess you're going to get them. So I think we should end here for now. So we have another one we're going to talk about the next class, which is going to be appending and merging query. So after that, we'll talk about, basically we're going to finish everything about Power Query in the next class. So let's stop here. So your assignment is, I'm going to send you a data. So I'm going to send you a data which you are going to transform. I'm going to send you this data. Basically, it's going to be this data too. So you're going to clean it up for me. Clean it up very well. I don't want to see an error anywhere you see different errors. I want you to clean it up and make it look better. So I think there are some ones I have not talked about, but they're like, okay, I already talked about everything. So, but basically, clean the data up. That's basically what you need to do. With the ones I've already taught you, you can transpose, you can pivot and pivot, you can transpose and all that there. So after doing it, just save it and send it to me so that I can go through it. Do you get it, man?
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to send the data to you now in the class. So that's it. So do you have any question before I call it today, or you understand everything?
Yeah, pretty much understand to an extent. But one is that all this cleaning that we are cleaning here, I want to know what's the difference between cleaning the data here on Power BI and cleaning it on Excel. Because I imagine that in Excel,
it's
all
the same
these
thing.
things cannot be done.
It's the same thing. You are using Power Query to clean up in Excel.
Okay.
So if you go inside the Power Query in Excel and Power Query is the same thing. It's just Power Query is just and before Power Query was not in Power BI. It was an add-on. It was just even in Excel, it was an add-on that you have to add it when you install. But now it's part of it. You have it there, just transform. But it's the same thing. This Power Query is another software on its own that you just go to. So if you're going into Power Query from Excel, you're still going to be seeing the same thing, but just the logo is going to be from Excel. It's not from Power BI again. And if you're loading it back, it's going to be loaded to Excel. Do you get it? So they're just transformation and everything you do there is kind of the same thing. It's the same thing. But the other one is coming from Power BI, just as different, and the other one is coming from Excel.
Okay.
That's it. Is that all?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that. So I'm going to, sorry about the last guy, I didn't send it early. I actually thought I sent it because I actually uploaded it that same day. That's in the I actually thought I sent it, so I'm very sorry I did not send it. I'm going to make sure I send this one. You're going to see it. Very, very sorry, man. Okay, so so with that being that, I'm going to call it a day. So I'm going to see you in the next class, which is going to be on Tuesday, which I'm going to be rounding up Power Query on. So have a great day, man.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.